Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation for business owners. This is your host, Lorraine Ball. And one of the really cool things about being a podcaster is I get to invite amazing people to chat with me on the show. And it's not just that it's fun for both of us, it's also good for our businesses. Me inviting other people on and being a guest on other people's shows has a real benefit to my business and to theirs. And to dive into this topic with me, I've invited Jennie Wright to join me. She is a list build and lead generation strategist and expert. She specializes in helping authentic entrepreneurs build highly engaged email lists and expertly sell their programs and services. She's also the co-host with Alice and Lex on a podcast called System to Thrive, which is currently rated one of the top podcasts globally by Listen Notes. Jennie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so nice to have you back. We had a lot of fun when we did a three-way with you and Allison. But today I'm really happy to dive into this topic with you on leveraging peer platforms. So let's kind of start with that. When you say leverage peer platforms, what do you mean?
What I mean is that a lot of people want to build their email lists and attract their ideal clients. And there is a worry or a feeling as to how they can do that, time, interest, money. How are they going to make this happen? And the easiest way to do so is leveraging other people's platforms, meaning being a guest on other people's podcasts, obviously, very meta, me talking about that. However, it's even more important to look at things like giveaways and bundles and panels and summits. You can grow your list really quickly and incredibly effectively by appearing on other people's things. And you can add a lot more people to your list more quickly without having to host your own thing, build your own thing, spend the money on your own thing. And it can be really, really relevant in a way that keeps you moving forward. A lot of people are like, oh, if I have to build the thing, it's going to take me a long time and I won't do it. This eliminates that. And it creates that collaboration.
Well, and the thing I loved, and I've done this a number of times over the years, is I get to meet other interesting people along the way. I've found that by participating in these large kind of group panels, first off, if the organizer has got their act together, everybody wins. And
Yep.
but then I've also been on some that maybe fell a little flat. So as I'm looking to participate on peer platforms, are there some rules of thumb that you use to help you decide this is going to be good for me, this one maybe I should skip, or do you just dive into as many as possible?
Oh, heck no, absolutely not. I'm incredibly more discerning than that, and I recommend that everybody else is as well. Do a little bit of due diligence, a little bit of research. Start light. You can go into using other people's social media and see what they're posting and sort of making sure that there's a relevancy between your message and theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, check out a landing page or previous things that they may have done. If it's a podcast that you're looking to be on, listen to the actual episodes.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you can do is agree to be on a podcast because you're just trying to get out there willy-nilly and the podcast is not for you. I will make an example of this. There was a podcast a couple of years ago that I was invited to be on. I didn't really vet it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like I want to get everywhere. And when I got on there, the person was a chef and he talked to people about proper pans and knives. I had no business being on that podcast. None. It's a dark blob in my background, but that was. I think we all make something like that, but yeah.
Yes, as you're saying that, I remember guesting on one person's show, and like you, I had looked at a little bit of his social media, but I hadn't really watched the episodes all the way through. And about halfway through the episode, he did some very strange special effects stuff that just got creepy. And there was no getting out of it at that point. And I thought, oh my God, what have I signed up for? So yes, I think being selective, trying, as you say, finding shows that are a good fit. How do you approach people if you want to be included in some of these giveaways? Maybe you haven't been out there as much. After a while, people start reaching out to you, you reach out to them, you get to know a community. But how do you break into the club and get invited to the party?
It's not as hard as you may think. I mean, there is a little bit of resistance if you don't have a social following, if you don't have your own email list, but that can be remedied pretty quickly.
Mhm.
You don't have to have a massive list, by the way. I mean, I have clients who I am really pushing to be on these kinds of events and these peer platforms, and they have a list of 100 people. They
Wow.
just have to have, yeah, they don't have to have a big list. You just have to have something. You have to show that you're making the effort and you're in growth. As long as you're hungry and you're in growth and you're showing that effort towards building your own following, a lot of people will take you on, no problem.
Mhm.
So networking is key. I spend a lot of time in Facebook groups. So there's Facebook groups that deal specifically with speakers, and it's like find a speaker, book a speaker kind of thing, or be a speaker. Those kinds of groups are great. I love that. So that's Facebook, Instagram. You can post on your Instagram that you're available for these things. Making sure that you make life easy for the person either booking you or trying to find you is imperative. So one of the ways that you and I found each other was on a platform called Podmatch.
Mhm.
And so I do recommend platforms like that and other podcasting or guest speaking opportunity platforms, just so you can meet people and connect and make these kind of matches. I think that's key.
So you've got to go where other people like you are hanging out and look
Yes,
for those opportunities, connect, add value. I found that you were saying, just getting on social media, sometimes following some of those people and doing more than just liking, but commenting and interacting with them helps you get noticed.
correct.
All right.
Absolutely.
So podcasting is one thing, but there's a lot of value and a great opportunity to build your email list if you are cross promoting, becoming a part of these giveaway programs where everybody has an offer. Any words of
Yes.
advice on when you're leveraging that platform? What do you bring to the party? How much value? What do you hold back? What really brings people to you?
Having a irresistible, and you've heard this before, irresistible offer, but having something that's irresistible that people really want. I was talking to a client this morning who were making an actual paid product that she will use for these types of giveaways, meaning it'll be free for the registrants of the giveaway but paid for the rest of the public.
Mhm.
We talked about it as like a little amuse-bouche. Okay, so something that people can just get a little tasty treat, and it feels really good in the palate, and it keeps them kind of hungry for a little bit more. What does that mean? It means you're not giving away obviously your whole system, but
Mhm.
you're solving a small problem. You're satiating a little bit and providing somebody with something that they want. This is where a lot of people get hung up, by the way. They're like, I can't think of anything, therefore I don't do anything,
Mhm.
therefore I won't go on anything. And instead of getting hung up in this space, just know that you can update these things, change them, or elevate them. There's no need for perfection at this particular moment. It's the need for movement. It's the need to grow. So have that thing that you want to add on the giveaway. The other thing, as I said earlier, you've got to make it simple for people to book you on these
Mhm.
things. So make sure you have a media folder. I have mine in Google Drive. It's
Mhm.
got my headshots, my approved bios, my approved free gifts, and so on. And I have that on various platforms, like we were talking earlier, Podmatch, so that it makes it easy for people to find and connect with me. And again, I'm in those Facebook groups that I mentioned earlier, providing support and helping. And you have to tell people that you're willing to speak. You can't expect people to be like, "Oh, you're awesome, come speak." You have to tell them that you're ready to speak. So there is effort on your part to find these opportunities, but you can find them through connections and networking and just participating in the grander, global scale of this digital space.
Awesome. Parting thoughts. If there was one thing that you would say to someone who is thinking about doing this and getting ready to put their toe in the water, not just chatting mildly, but really going after some of these cross promotion opportunities that they should keep in mind.
perseverance and consistency is going to be the thing that wins the day. If you try this and it doesn't work and you only work, you only did this for 4 hours in 1 week, it's not going to work. Not that you have to spend 20 hours a week on this. You just have to create consistency. I spend about an hour to 2 hours per week just in this space of trying to get on other people's podcasts and speak on other people's panels and so on and so forth. So it's the consistency. A friend of mine says, do it for 90 days and then see what happens. So spend 90 days creating a consistent pattern on how you can approach and being in these types of events and leveraging other people's platforms, and then see where you are versus
Fantastic.
5 minutes. Yeah.
That's awesome. Jennie, thank you so much for dropping by, for sharing some wisdom with my audience.
It was absolutely my pleasure. It was great to be here. Thank you.
If you've enjoyed Jennie's tips, there's going to be a link to her website. It'll be in the show notes. Check it out. Not only is she an expert at getting on other people's platforms and cross promoting, she's also got some great tips on building your list and building landing pages. And that's a whole other topic. Thank you again.
Thanks so much.
And if you've enjoyed today's conversation and you'd like to find other resources for your business, be sure to check out our toolbox. Look for MTFW wherever you listen to podcasts. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.